All right, today I'm going to use my test bed to show you a simulated program for a pick and place activity. This is going to be an activity that you're eventually going to move on to the ClawBots with, but we're going to set up a test bed to make sure that we're understanding our lines of programming before we actually put it on the ClawBot. What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to open our claw. We're going to want to simulate driving forward. We're going to want to close our claw. We're going to want to simulate a turn. Then we will simulate driving forward again. Then we'll open our claw to finish the activity. Now, I got a couple programs already open, and the reason it's helpful to have a couple programs already open is I can copy and paste some of the coding that I've already created from other files that I saved. That way it's going to save me some issues. Now, this program that I have up here on the computer, this is one where I have the robot drive forward, and then I have it turn 180 and drive back. So I found this as something that I've saved before. This doesn't have the claw in it, but I have my claw motor program from just the other day. I'm going to try and fuse these two programs together so that it'll simulate the activity. So if I go up here to task description, it says push a button, and then after 2 seconds the robot will move forward for 5 seconds. It's going to turn 180 and return home. So what I'm going to want to do, if I go over here to my claw program, I'm going to push a button to open the claw. And so I'm going to copy this to open the claw, Control C, and then I'm going to come back over here to this program where it says push a button. I'm going to paste this right after push a button to open the claw, comma, after 2 seconds, robot will move, let me hit return, forward for 5 seconds, and then I want it to close the claw after that. So let me try and drag this back over to there. So robot will move forward for 5 seconds. I'm going to go back here to claw, and I'm going to put close the claw. So I'm going to copy this, bring it back to this first program. So push a button to open the claw after 2 seconds. Robot will move forward for 5 seconds, comma, paste in, close the claw, turn 180 and return to home. After that, I'll have it, comma, open the claw. So I'll copy this back over and place it in my task description, so that I don't, kind of in plain English, making it easy to understand. So it's going to open the claw, it's going to move forward, it's going to close the claw, it's going to turn 180, and it's going to return home. So I need to add in my open the claw. So I'm going to hit, I don't want to take that out. I'm going to go over here to my claw motor program. It looks like, oh, there it is. It was off the screen. I'm going to start motor, wait, stop motor. So that was my open the claw. I'm going to copy that, bring it back to first program, and I'm going to paste it in there. Okay, so it opens the claw, drives forward. After it drives forward, we want it to close the claw. I'm going to go over here to claw motor, and I'm going to copy this. I'm only going to push a button once to do the whole program, so I'm going to leave that Intel bump out. Now, one thing I'm not certain of, I have a positive and a negative to drive the motor forward. Here I have a positive and a positive to do a 180, and then I have a positive and a negative to bring it home. And then it has me turn again. I don't think I need that in there, because I have move forward, 180, move home, This is just returning to my starting point. So maybe I will leave that in there. We'll see what it looks like. In pseudocode, I have until bump. And I'm just going to copy over, open the claw into my pseudocode. Until bump, wait 2. Open the claw. Start drive motors. Wait 5. Stop drive motors. Here I want to close the claw. I'm going to copy that over to make sure my pseudocode is accurate. Now I know it seems like a lot of all over the place. Just make sure that you're keeping your Chromebook with you and you're paying particular attention to the text in here. Let me try and wrap this around with some returns so that you can see everything. Clean it up a little bit, because the bad thing about Robot C is it does run these lines off of the screen, and then you're not really sure what you're looking at. So there we have everything back together. Let's check our motors and sensor setup. This has claw motor in port 7, push buttons in 2. So I'm going to have to make some changes to my motors and sensor setup. So I'm going to pause that so that everything looks right before I come back. Okay, I took some time to redo my motors and sensors since I was using 2 programs, the claw motor from the other day, and then a previous program where I had a ClawBot doing a 180, because we're trying to emulate sort of a pick-and-place program with the test bed so that we can come back at a later time and try and put them on one of the ClawBots. So I'm kind of fusing 2 programs together. I cleaned up my task description to emulate the motors going forward and then making a turn. And while they're doing that, the claw opens to start things up, and then it closes in the middle of the program to sort of pick things up. Now, I've already made sure that I had my claw with the motor controller plugged into motor port 3. I have it in the closed position because I know that's what worked from the other day. I made sure that my push button's in digital 1. My right motor is in motor port 1, and my left motor's in motor port 2. So I'm trying to see if these wheels look like they go the same direction. If not, I'm going to have to change some values. Let's go back to Robot C. I got my motor on. Let's do a firmware download. We're clearing off that Cortex for a fresh start. Takes a moment to do that. Doesn't matter what test bed you start out with. You don't have to use the same test bed every day. They should be put together in the same manner. But there are some things you need to check, and I think we're going through that pretty thoroughly. Okay, now we're going to do a download to Robot. This usually goes quicker than firmware. We're going to click on our Start button, and then let's see what happens. I'm going to pick up my claw here. I'm going to carefully undo my USB. I'm going to push the button and see if the claw opens. I better watch where I'm holding it. I don't want to hold it on the gear, and then I want to see if the wheels go forward. Claw opens. We wait a few seconds. The wheels are going forward. Claw closes to pick things up. The wheels are going in opposite directions to make the turn, and then they should go forward again. Now, I could take this and then they back up, then they do a 180 to take it home. So I could put in another line of code where the claw opens and drops that in. But what I wanted you to see from this program is we have the motors driving together in similar directions. We have the claw actuating so that it can grab something when it gets to a certain point. We have it closing, and then we've emulated the motors driving back. So it's kind of a long program, but it's going to get you more comfortable to working with the ClawBots when we move away from the test beds. Make sure when you go to work on this, look carefully at my lines of text. Make sure you have your Chromebook there. Make sure that you can see the screen. Take time to copy things over carefully It's okay if you're doing the example that I gave you, where you're fusing two programs together, trying to copy and paste some items so that it's saving you some steps. You saw that it only took me a few minutes to write kind of a long program that's actually going to perform a task. So hopefully you get this together. Make sure that you share this with me. Make sure that, again, you're checking your platform type and your motors and sensors setup. And until next time, good luck.